My name is Brian Razzaque, and I am the CEO of SocialToaster. From the beginning, from day one, we realized that SocialToaster and the problem we solve is a very hyper-focused niche problem, right? We do one thing, we do it very, very well, but we don't do it in a vacuum, right? We complement numerous other digital marketing initiatives or platforms, and we augment what they're doing. So it's been my philosophy from the beginning that ultimately we are going to make our product will make more sense as part of a larger ecosystem. So whether we're the leaders of that ecosystem and start to bring all those partners in, it's one option. I've always been more of the opinion that there are a number of 900-pound gorillas in the space where they have those ecosystems, and we would likely want to be a part of that. So we definitely have a number of companies in mind. I don't want to jinx myself by saying them on camera, but we certainly do have a number of players that have been making moves, and you can even look in the space and see some activity. When you're looking at entrepreneurship, that there really are two types of businesses, right? There are what I call lifestyle businesses, where as the owner, you can grow them to a certain size. They can make you personally a reasonable amount of money. You can actually be quite comfortable, quite well off, but they're not generally any sort of a path towards true wealth or true scale, or however you want to look at it. And whereas then you have sort of quote unquote real companies where from the ground up they're built with scale in mind, and they're built with a plan that says that this business is going to be something that is going to have a tremendous amount of inherent equity. And so after teaching for several semesters, that was really forced me to look at my own life and say, here I am with this consulting firm. I do fairly well for myself, but it's never going to get me to where I know I can be. And so I sort of said I need to take my own medicine and go do something that can scale. One of my investors said something to me, and I think it's at the heart of when you're contemplating the scale of a business, and he said something along the lines of very few entrepreneurs have the ability to actually take a mathematical approach to their business and really look at it as a mathematical model. And that is the underlying fundamental key to being able to determine whether or not you have scale, is an ability to actually put a model in place that basically says for every X dollars that I put in, I'm going to get Y dollars out. I think that is the hardest part. If you don't have that type of a mindset, if you're not very good with spreadsheets, if you don't have a good understanding of sort of all of the ins and outs of your business, you'll have a very hard time building anything that will scale. Most people they start a business because they have a particular personal skill set. They have knowledge that there's some labor that they can contribute to the world and it has value. But one of the things that when you talk to investors, anything associated with labor is not interesting, right? It's very difficult to scale anything related to services or anything that has billable hours associated with it. It's extremely challenging to scale anything like that. So, the first lesson is looking at what can you actually produce, what can you manufacture or make or design that is going to have an ability to be rolled out on a massive size with minimum human interaction or minimum labor associated with it. So whether that's software or whether that's a physical product or whatever. So I think the hardest part, if you want to build a business that has scale, is really looking at it and saying, number one, what can I actually be producing that can be produced at scale? And then number two, can I build a mathematical model around all of it that basically indicates that for every dollar spent, I'm going to generate, more than $1 in terms of revenue. And it's a challenging thing to do.